my voice goes down and you're not hearing. Well, thank you very much, Lynette, for that warm introduction, and I'm delighted to be here at NIN's final big meeting of 2017. And on behalf of the Scottish Government, I'd also like to welcome all NIN members to today's event. I'm pleased to recognise a few familiar faces, and I know many of you have travelled a substantial way to be here today, so welcome. This has been a hugely important year for the NIN in celebrating its 10th anniversary. Organising an event like this takes a huge amount of effort, so I'm sure I speak for everyone here today in thanking Lynette, Brian and Paddy and the rest of the team who do so much of the work behind the scenes to help the NIN come together. The last 10 years have seen lots of changes across Scotland, and you all deserve praise for helping the NIN go from strength to strength during a time of great change. I've heard that the 10th anniversary celebrations back in May were a great success, and I'm delighted that this landmark was celebrated in style during Learning Disability Awareness Week. In Scotland, we're committed to ensuring that people with learning disabilities are able to live as rich and fulfilling lives as possible. We want communities to be inclusive and accessible to people with all disabilities. We want a fair, inclusive society which takes account of the additional needs of people with disabilities while allowing them to flourish and lead good lives. That's why the work of the NIN is so important. People with learning disabilities need to have a voice. Hearing from you and understanding what matters to you is at the heart of our strategy direction. The NIN clearly provides a welcoming forum for you to join in debates which have people with learning disabilities at the heart of them. We want to know and understand what is working and what is not working across Scotland for people with learning disabilities. Your views are not only welcomed, but they're fundamental to how we shape policy across Scotland. Of course, much of the work the NIN has been doing recently has been underpinned by the work of the Charter for Involvement. The 12 statements under the Charter highlight some of the key areas we believe are crucial in supporting people with learning disabilities. That you must be at the heart of any plans about your lives, that you have the right to live independently, that you have the right to choose the people who support you. I'm delighted that we now have 61 organisations signed up to the Charter and that it continues to highlight what is important to people with learning disabilities. This human rights-based approach is in line with our Keys to Life strategy for people with learning disabilities. I'm sure all of the team at the NIN will continue to work with more organisations to grow the Charter, and we'll continue to support the values that the Charter adheres to. It's now been 4 years since we launched the 10-year learning disabilities strategy, the Keys to Life. I'm sure that to a lot of NIN members, it must seem that the last 4 years have just flown by. Since 2015, we have focused on 4 main outcomes. Outcomes which we believe helped us to achieve our ultimate vision, that all citizens of Scotland who have learning disabilities live longer, healthier lives, are supported to participate fully in all aspects of society, prosper as individuals, and are valued contributors to a fair and equal Scotland. I know you're all keen to hear about the next plan for the Keys to Life. My officials have been working over the summer months, thinking about what people have said are important. They have told me that the 4 outcomes still make sense, but what is important to people falls under 3 big headings: living, learning, and working. People with learning disabilities have so much to contribute to society here in Scotland. We want to make sure that the things that matter to people with learning disabilities are at the heart of our next phase of strategy delivery, where people live, what they do during the day, including good jobs, what support they need if they are parents, what opportunities there are to learn throughout life, to highlight just a few areas. That's why I'm pleased to say that I've agreed to the learning disability strategy being aligned across lots of areas of governments. I will be meeting with ministerial colleagues in the coming months to begin conversations on how they can help make the lives of people with learning disabilities as good as possible. We must look at all aspects of our society and communities to identify and remove barriers to true equality. Once these conversations have taken place, my officials will continue to engage with you and to speak about how we can help remove these barriers. So we will rely on the NIN to help us share the outcome from these conversations across Scotland and look forward to working closely with you to share ideas and involve you in our thinking. So I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me here to speak to you all today. It's been a pleasure to be with you all. As I've said, we will continue to work together towards shaping and improving the future for people with learning disabilities in Scotland. The democratic approach the NIN takes is really praiseworthy and shows how valuable the input of people with learning disabilities is in continuing to inform our discussion. We want you to voice your opinions about issues that matter to you, both locally and nationally. Unfortunately, I have to rush back to Edinburgh because I have to lead a debate in the Parliament this afternoon. I'm sorry to just come and make a speech and then leave you so early. I'd love to hear about the great things that have been going on, but I'm going to get feedback on what you have said and what you're doing today. So I hope you enjoy the rest of today's meeting. I look forward to meeting you again, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking today. I know you have to go very soon, but I hope you can stay long enough to get an idea of what our meetings are like. I think we are only the national group like this where people from so many places can come together.